Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, are you're over the gluttonous day yesterday? Yeah, some of you did. Some of you had it. Everyone was asking yesterday how our Thanksgiving went, and we didn't do anything any different yesterday because, again, I know you've heard me say this. Sunday we're doing our really big Thanksgiving dinner for our whole community, and we're just busy right now just kind of cooking and planning for it. So we just decided yesterday would just be a normal food day for us. But just a good family day. And I'm sure many of you got up at the crack of dawn or even earlier to go out and stand in all those lines to get some $10 off tennis shoes or whatever it is. But yeah, it's Black Friday, but you can get some good deals. I am certainly not the advocate for standing in line to buy a TV that I'll never watch. But if you go to a link down below, it's with my affiliate, My Patriot Supply, and they are running a sale today on the Alexa Pure water filters. Those are those big stainless steel countertop ones. We have one and we love it. I have put it through the test myself, and with actual water testing, and it's done excellent. And it's only, I think it's $170, which is that's a really good price. So there's a link in the description below if you're interested in those. And I would suggest you have good water filtration for when it all hits the fan. That way you can just take out of places like this and have you some nice, good, safe, clean drinking water. Anyways, today's video is going to be kind of a part two of the one that I did yesterday. It wasn't intended to be that way, but more has come out that fits right along with it, and I want to talk about it. And I want to talk about this, and I understand that there's going to be some of you that are on top of this, and it's a big focus for you, and others, it's not so much. Others, it's just not, it's too far-fetched. And I think sometimes when things seem a little too far-fetched or just so far out there into the future that we just don't pay attention to it. And this particular issue, I think that happens with a lot of people, not because it is far-fetched or because it's so far off in the future, but because it's above our understanding for most people, true understanding. And I'm speaking of artificial intelligence. Don't roll your eyes and click off on this. Just stay with me on this. I get it. There's a lot of things going on in the world. Really, really bad things. I mean, it's a lot. It really is. But this artificial intelligence development, I think, is one of the impending doom kind of things that's happening. And I'm not going to say that everything that's going on in the world is done as a distraction from something like artificial intelligence, but I think it is distracting people from artificial intelligence because it has developed so far, and it's certainly beyond my understanding, but I try to learn as much as I can about it. And I think for most people, the reason why they're not terrified of artificial intelligence is because the AI that is at their fingertips is very inferior compared to what actually does exist. Most people, the average person's artificial intelligent experience is some kind of Alexa that they get in their home or Siri on their phone, and it's novel, it's cute, it's fun to make jokes about it. It may add a little bit of convenience to your life, but it's certainly not very threatening, right? The point is, folks, is that AI that you're used to would be like using an old Windows 3.0 computer and comparing it to the most advanced computer today. That's probably not even a very good comparison. It would more likely be some type of typewriter from the 1800s compared to the top of the line quantum computer today. The level of artificial intelligence that exists is light years ahead of what most people are used to. The Alexa, the Siri, things of that nature. The very real possibility of AI taking over is becoming more and more real. I remember listening, and I'm certainly not 100% advocating this, but I remember, I believe it was David Wilkerson, a preacher and from back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, that era. And I think it was him, I may be wrong on this, but I think it was him saying that he made a prediction or a prophecy, whatever you want to call it, that in the future that all home appliances would have computers in them, and they would be able to track what you were doing and where you went. And I may be wrong on the person that said that. I think it was him. But anyways, it was said. I remember it many years ago. Now, here we are today that virtually everything you own has some type of computers in it. I've seen, crock pots and toaster ovens that connect to your Wi-Fi. And I'm thinking, what in the world? Are people that desperate? Do they really need that? No, they don't. But when everything is connected to the net, to the grid, then it has much greater capabilities of controlling and monitoring you. And then you throw in artificial intelligence to that, and it could absolutely control and monitor you. In fact, there are predictions that over the next 10 years, the amount of job loss in the world, especially the United States, is going to be so great that it could cause major economic catastrophes, because AI will be taking the place of many jobs in the United States. Now, I'm saying all this to say this. Remember the story? I talked about it yesterday. It was in the news. Most of you probably couldn't care less about it. Sam Altman, he was the CEO of OpenAI, which is the company that runs this ChatGPT, which is that online AI. That particular AI is actually not very powerful and not really all that advanced, but they use that. They put that out there in the public so that people will interact with it and that the AI will be able to learn. And so I believe it's very manipulative and deceitful the way they do it. It's like it's a little toy out there. Here, play with this toy, but all the while the AI is learning what you're doing. Anyways, so he was the CEO, and the board fired him and then hired him back 4 days later. And it came out in the news yesterday that, or the day before, that he was fired because of a report sent to the board by some employees that they had developed or discovered a new something in artificial intelligence. I guess they're calling it Q-Star. It's been all over a buzz on the internet, called Q-Star. And the reason is because the employees actually expressed that they were a little frightened because this new artificial intelligence discovery could threaten humanity. Like that kind of sounds like Terminator kind of stuff, right? That it could threaten humanity. And then yesterday, it came out in the news that the Pentagon is considering giving artificial intelligence the ability to control who it chooses to kill, to take out, to fire weapons. And so basically what that means, if you get into it, is the drones that we use, these attack drones, that they will be placing artificial intelligence software in them, which for the most part they already have. But then they will be allowing that software to make the decisions of when it comes upon a target of whether to fire upon that target or not. So it's taking the decision-making control completely out of the hands of humans, and they're putting it into these machines, into the software. And so AI will have the ability to take out human life. Now, is it a coincidence that this all happened roughly the same time, almost within the same 24-hour period? Both stories came out. I mean, it could be a coincidence, but you know how I feel about coincidences. They're generally not very coincidental. I think there's something to this. And yes, the world is distracted by all the terrorism and the wars and the economy and all this other. There's apparently some new disease floating around in China, all kinds of stuff, right? But I'm telling you folks that this computer AI stuff is going to, it's gonna hit us and blindside us is what it's gonna do. And if you're not prepared to live outside of a technological world, then you just better get used to it controlling you, because that may be the only options in your life. This is, I believe, very biblical. If you start to read into end time prophecies and it's talking about the beast and the beast system and everything, and it sounds so far-fetched, it starts to sound like some type of controlling entity that may not be human or even spiritual is controlling it. Now, on that note, a lot of people do believe that artificial intelligence is demonically controlled. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that's a lot of belief of that, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was. But you can laugh, you can roll your eyes, but artificial intelligence is very possibly going to, be the beginning of the end for humanity. Even Elon Musk and many other very notable, smart people, alive and formerly alive, have warned about this. Was it Stephen Hawking warned about it? Many others. And over the last year or two, there's been many, many warnings from software developers, AI software developers saying, hey, we should stop this, we should slow down. And yet no one is. It's this, like the space race, it's this race to see who can develop the most advanced AI. And then what happens when they do? Well, now it rules over us. And I don't think that a lot of the movies from the 80s and 90s of AI taking over and destroying humanity are really that far-fetched, especially when you just start to see what AI already says and does. So it is of great concern, and you should be preparing for it also. And honestly, the how you prepare that's a tough one. My immediate suggestion is just prepared to live outside of the technological world. Can they still find you? Can they still send drones? Of course. But there are ways to try to get around that, and maybe that's the best way. Like in Revelation, flee into the wilderness, up into the mountains. Folks, you need to be getting your houses in order. This is serious stuff. I mean, we're already at the point that our military is allowing artificial intelligence full control over making decisions of taking out enemy targets. It's not as far off in the future as some of you might think. It's happening right now, and you need to be aware of it and get ready for it, because most of the predictions that I've seen that in the next 12 to 36 months that the world is going to be kind of taken by storm, kind of because of the artificial intelligence. It's going to be a very, very rapid progression over the next several months. And of course, then that leads us right up to Agenda 2030 of the year 2030. So yeah, get ready, folks. Get your houses in order. Prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.